Shalom Bracha, Shakadosh Baruch Hu will give you happiness, bracha v'atzlacha, and briut, be'ezat Hashem, should you be well. I would like to explain to you something that we saw in the Parsha of Mishpatim. This Parsha is after Matan Torah. The Parsha starts with the slaves. At the time, there was business of slaves. Business. People used to buy slaves, sell them. But there is laws for a Jew who buy a Jewish slave that this Jewish slave, he stole money and now he don't have money to pay for what he stole. So the rabbis, they give permission to sell him to somebody with the money that he can pay all the debt. How long he will be a slave? 6 years. And after 6 years, you have to give him freedom. There is laws. And of course, don't think that it's easy to buy a slave, because if you buy a slave, you're going to be the slave of your slave, because there is laws as well for the owner of the slave, because the slave, he is a slave, but you, the owner, if you have only one meal for you and your slave, you may think you eat first and you don't care about your slave. The law don't give you permission. The slave always, he has the right to eat before you. You have 2 beds, you have 1 bed. So if you have only one, it's for him, not for you. But I am the owner. Well, you are the owner, you work hard, so you deserve to sleep well. So don't think to have a slave is easy. Yes, to have a slave, there is the laws how to, but my friend, why the Torah talk to us about slaves after Matan Torah? There is so many mitzvot that the Torah can talk about. Talk about Shabbat, talk about Nida, talk about Kashrut, talk about a lot of things. Shemitah, there is 613 mitzvot. Talk about Brit Milah. Why Torah talk after Matan Torah? The Torah talk about slaves. My friend, it's very important to remember one thing, that we were one day slaves. One day we were slaves for 400 years in Egypt. There is a big rabbi, Rabbi Yaakov Betzera. He asked a question. He said, why Hashem he punished the Egyptian? Hashem, he said, he told Abraham that your descendants, they will suffer. In Egypt, they will remain there for 100 years. So why Pharaoh has to suffer? So Rabbi Yaakov Betzera gave a beautiful answer. He said, because it's right. Hashem, he told Abraham that his descendants, they will be slaves in Egypt for 400 years. But Hashem, he did not said that the Jewish people will stay forever. And Pharaoh, he made them twice the slaves that Hashem, he said. I mean, Pharaoh, he doubled the work on the Jews. And that was not right. That's why Hashem was angry. And at the end, you see, Pharaoh didn't want to send them. After 400 years, he let them go. He didn't want to let them go. That's why he pushed, that's why Hashem he didn't say that you have to kill them, that you have to do shechita, to wash with their blood, to throw the children in the water. Hashem didn't say that, and Pharaoh did that. That's why Hashem punished Pharaoh and his army in the Egyptian, because they made the Jews suffer more. I mean, okay, you know why, my friend? You know why Hashem punished the 12 tribes? Because they made Yosef suffer. Even that Yosef forgive them, because they were cruel to him. I mean, okay, you want to make suffer somebody, don't be cruel. Be human. Don't do what you should not do. My friend, the Jewish people, after that they got their freedom from Egypt, Hashem, He gave them the Torah. But Hashem, He told them, I want you to be my slaves. Don't be slaves to other people. Don't forget, one day you've been slaves in Egypt, and then I brought you back. I delivered you to be my people. So now, remain my people. Don't do bad things to be slave to other people. My friend, it's very important for me to tell you that after Matan Torah, Hashem showed the Jews who He is. The Jews, they saw, they saw what nobody saw before. They heard the voice of Hashem when Hashem said, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. The rest of the Ten Commandments, it was Moshe Rabbeinu who said them. But can you imagine, Moshe Rabbeinu, he talked in a way that all the Jewish people heard him talking. Today, if I want to give a speech, I need a micro. That few hundred people hear me. There were few million people. How can Moshe talk to them? It was the voice of Hashem that went through the voice of Moshe Rabbeinu. That was incredible. And that was a moment that no one can forget. Not only our parents, few thousand years ago, received the Torah. Even me, you were there. We received the Torah. And we said, Na'aseh v'nishma. We said, we listen. I was there, you were there. That was incredible. And Hashem, after the Matan Torah, the first thing He said, hey sir, don't forget, you were slaves. And now you are my slaves. So don't do bad things that you will be against slaves. To somebody that they have to sell you to become slave. Be always free man, freedom. Be free from the Yitzhara. Don't do things with the Yitzhara control you. So that means the Yitzhara own you. And it's me Hashem who own you. You want to be my slave. Don't be the slave of the Yitzhara. I want you to be my slave. Don't be a slave to somebody that he bought you to become his slave. Because if you are a slave to somebody, you cannot do Torah mitzvot. Because you have already another boss. So it was very important to know that the Jews, they were under a big influence. How much they have to be slave of Hashem after Matan Torah. So Hashem, He took the opportunity to talk about how much to be careful to be the slave of Hashem and not to be the slave to somebody else and not to be the slave of the Yitzhara. So important, the influence. You can imagine that what we saw on Matan Torah that give us an influence till now. Till now, we still feel this beautiful influence of Matan Torah. My friend, just imagine when the Jews wanted to cross the sea, they saw Moshe Rabbeinu standing with the stick left, the stick, he was pointed toward the sky and his hand toward the sea, as Hashem told him. And Hashem told him, you caused the sea. I don't understand why Hashem asked Moshe Rabbeinu to do that movement. The stick toward Hashem and his finger, toward the water. Just imagine the Jews are looking at Moshe like that. You know why Hashem, he did that? I want Hashem that the Jews will see. They will see how much Moshe Rabbeinu is valuable. That he don't need the stick to hit the sea, to split. Even just point out his finger. Only his finger, with this finger. And that took time. When the Jews saw that the sea split, the Torah said, "Vayaminu b'Hashem u'Moshe avdu." Now they believe in Hashem and Moshe. Why till now they didn't believe in Moshe? Yes, they believed, but they got used to see all miracles. So they never demand miracles. They never, before they demand something to Hashem, Hashem already give them. He give them. Now Hashem teach them, hey, from now, I will not give you nothing till you demand. That's why we have to pray. Can you imagine when Moshe Rabbeinu was like that? What was going on? The Jews were praying, Hashem, please, help Moshe that the sea will split. And then Hashem will say, now you demand. Now the sea will split. It's very important for Hashem that the Jews should always ask. You ask, you get. You don't ask, you don't get. Look, children, I know one thing. Whatever I wanted from my father, I know if my father will tell me no, I will go to my mother and I will get it. Why? Because the mother, mama, you have to demand. So with Hashem as well, you have to demand to Hashem. Ask and you will get. My friend, a slave, he can never ask to his boss. He cannot ask because it's the boss who asks always. He just is here to accept. But we, with Hashem, is the contrary. We are the slave of Hashem, and we ask Him. You know who is the slave? It's Hashem. We think that we are the slaves. Really, we sleep. Hashem, we don't sleep. When we need something, before we ask Hashem, He already give. So really, who's Baruch Hashem? We sleep well. We wake up. We open our eyes. We hear. We listen. We talk. We move. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. I think that every morning that we get up, that should be a good influence on us to have more emunah on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That Baruch Hashem, I'm here. Thanks God. There was a big rabbi, the Ponevich Rav, that they wanted to give him, there was a woman that she wanted to give him a big check in New York for the yeshiva of Ponevich. He went to America with his secretary, and of course that old lady that she wanted to give him the check, she wanted to give him the check in front of a photograph that he would take a picture when she gave him the check. A picture, a souvenir for the children. But the old lady, when she saw the rabbi coming, she gave him her hand. And the rabbi, he was old. The Ponevich Rav, he was an old man. He would not give his hand. So somebody told him, Rabbi, she's an old lady. He told him, she's an old lady. But can you imagine the bad influence that that picture can give to everybody? If everybody will see the Ponevezhov giving his hand to an old lady, the people, what they will say? He touched the hand of a lady. They will not mention an old lady. Why I have to be a bad influence for people for money? I don't want to build my yeshiva on bad influence. I want the yeshiva to give a good influence, not a bad influence. That was his answer. My friend, Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom, he was an example. That the Torah says, "Vayaminu," the Jews believe in Moshe. He's a real slave. Yismach Moshe b'matanat chelko ke'eved ne'eman karat lo. Every Shabbos, and the Tefillah, we said, Moshe Rabbeinu is happy up there. You know why? Because Hashem called him my servant, my slave. Ke'eved ne'eman karat lo. Who is the Eved? Who is the slave? The slave, that's the one who listened to Hashem. Hashem wanted that the Bnei Israel would take example from Moshe, how much Moshe believed on Hashem. When they saw Moshe doing like that, this movement, all night, with Emunah, something is going to happen. And in the meantime, the Jews were praying, and they were looking at Moshe. And Moshe, he did not put his hand down. He remained as long as the sea. He did not split. That was his emunah. Hashem told me. Hashem said to Moshe, Moshe, take the stick up in your hand in front of the sea, and the sea will split. That's what he did. It was a big test because the sea didn't want to split, and Moshe didn't move. He remained like that. He knew that the word of Hashem will happen. And at the end, the sea split. That was a big influence that gives to the Jews. This is a real Eved Hashem. Who is the real Eved? Who is really the Eved Hashem, the slave of Hashem? Somebody, people who listen, who has no argument, no question about Hashem. They accept everything, come to Hashem. My friend, one thing I have to tell you. This beautiful Parsha of Mishpatim, the Torah took a lot of laws between people. You see somebody help him. Laws about people. I mean, how to behave with other people. I mean, don't forget, you are not alone here. You cannot do whatever you want to do. There is law. You cannot steal. You cannot be jealous. You cannot do ain hara on somebody. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. There is somebody who need help him. Laws. How much you have to be kind to people. Respect your parents. Don't eat meat and milk. It's incredible. Incredible. This is the way how to be a slave of Hashem. To be a slave of Hashem, if you do good things to the other one. We thought that Hashem will ask us only things about Hashem and I. No. We thought that Hashem wants from us just pray. No. Hashem, He wants us to be special people, nice, kind to the other one. The same way you are kind to your father and mother, you have to be the same with other people. To strangers. To your enemy. You see your enemy in a bad shape, help him. one day I was in the car, and I saw somebody that I know him, but he talked bad about me. It was raining. And we didn't talk. I mean, he didn't want to talk to me. He hit me. So I told the driver, stop, give him a ride. He said, this man? No, Rabbi. I said, please, stop. So I stopped. And when he saw me, he was embarrassed. To come in, yes, no. I told him, come in. We will not talk, just come in, we'll give you a ride. I told him the Torah said, if you have a problem with somebody and that somebody is in trouble, you have to help him. So the Torah said. So he told me, what about if the Torah would not say that, you will not do it? I said, I will do it. Because it's normal, you have to help somebody. So we did shalom. And he told me, I'm sorry, forgive me. So you see, Hashem is clever. Hashem, he wants you to be, he knows. By giving you an advice, it's going to be good for you the rest of your life. Today, this man will have very, very close friend. He will not do nothing without asking me and help me everything. You know why? Because I stopped to give him a ride. I wish you well. Hashem bless you. Have a good day. Thank you.